Hey, I hope your day is turning out to be a pleasant one thus far. For those of you that don't recognize me, I am Freestyle Lee. I'm a 54-year-old representative of the institution of hip-hop with a specialization in lyricism. And I couldn't help but notice that as of late, there's been a great deal of debate surrounding the state of hip-hop for one reason or another. So I felt as someone who's been invested in the profession of hip-hop since its inception, it may be beneficial if I share my perspective on the subject. So I jotted a few things down that may help shed some light on the subject. And when I say jotted down, I mean without the use of any large language models, because as a creative, that wouldn't be very creative now, would it? But enough banter. Let's get on with it, shall we?
Their first reaction, there'll be no question as to whether or not I stole the show. I've decided I'm getting back in rap. Let's see what these misguided mumble mouth rappers have to say after that.
Yes, and this is my opinion.
I think we may forget or fail to consider the fact that mainstream rap is just a niche within hip-hop, which unfortunately for the most part tends to reinforce the negative stereotypes we already have to deal with. Being written off as hypersexual, violent, intellectually challenged, dope-head hooligans that are willing to sacrifice their freedom and most likely their lives for fast money. Not only does this perpetuate said stereotypes, it also destroys the institution of hip-hop at the same time. There is very little likelihood that you can be creative and groundbreaking while simultaneously appealing to an enormous amount of people without making predictable, sterile, formulaic music, which is what I think we're currently hearing across all genres of music. But for now, I'm gonna keep it hip-hop. I also find it convenient that only in hip-hop are we saddled with the burden of aging out, as they say, because the subject matter connected to modern rap tends to be disposable, inconsiderate, self-serving, and destructive, which are traits that can be connected to someone who hasn't been or doesn't expect to live long enough to appreciate the value of peace, tranquility, and the wisdom acquired through longevity. The message went from how poverty and street life was affecting us to the effect we were having on the streets, negatively impacting our communities, transforming them into hoods. As I get deeper into it, I realize why it's such an important topic to discuss, because it's just as much a racial issue as it is a musical one, which should be no secret by now. So let's see. Education's priorities went from higher scores to a higher passing rate to keep funding flowing and create the illusion of progress. Rap started devolving, and violent entertainers who don't tend to be lyricists started getting the spotlight, resulting in physical confrontation and frivolous, excessive consumption becoming the norm for bad rap actors. We went from having to have the ability to spit bars to buying down the bar in a race to see who could quote more designer or gun manufacturers' names in their songs than the next entertainer. And yes, I'm using the word entertainer deliberately. Real MCs have access to the ability to dumb down our music to threaten people, shop, and trick if we wanted to just try to follow trends. But whack-ass rappers can't smarten up because there's no well of information for them to draw from. You dig? And just because they're rhyming words on a track doesn't mean they're a bona fide rapper on an actual hip-hop song. They're really more of an entertainer doing a pop tune. If you're a consumer and can't tell the difference, then you may just be a casual listener or a fan of a fan just following the crowd rather than actual personal taste, because fitting in can fill the gap when you don't know yourself yet. We all play a part in the game. As a supporter, the effort you put forth to ensure authenticity and artistry is recognized will be what directly impacts the industry. Modern rap isn't charting because there's not really much hip-hop in mainstream rap's DNA. With that being said, I plan to elaborate further and share a few more insights with you in my preferred format of choice. So please, hang around if you feel so inclined. I appreciate your time, attention, and support. Mm-hmm. everybody settle down now. We got a lot of ground to cover and we need to get started as soon as possible, okay? Let's go. Is it the style or the story? This is worth assessing. Will the lecture be based solely on conjecture, or will the lesson bear fruit that could lead to leaving a lasting impression? And upon further inspection, could provide viable answers to some of life's tougher questions. So I greatly appreciate the time you're investing in listening to me do my thing. Is it the style or the story? Why are you here? For me to regale you with tales of glory? That would imply that I am morally bankrupt, willing to sell my soul for the sake of getting my bank up. To have a whole heap of care if it crank up, and far more punani than I man alone can stank up. A mind full of murderous intentions, pistols outfitted with switches, clips have been extended, and my insolence makes me a victim of my own ignorance. My impudence makes me impossible to reach. Old heads label me too risky to teach. Last week, my homie told me I was mentally exhausted. I gave that some thought and almost lost it. My chi is depleted, and my chakras are woefully misaligned, and over time, this state of mind can lead to stressing and second-guessing that'll block your blessings. Is it the style or the story? That's a great question. Will the lecture be based solely on conjecture, or will the lesson bear fruit that could lead to leaving a lasting impression? And upon further inspection, could provide irrefutable proof that life can truly be beautiful. So it pleases me to see you felt it suitable to listen to Free do his thing. Mm-hmm.